Good evening, everyone. Today I want to look at some MLA revision key points. I want to show you a website that is really helpful for allowing you to do this, namely get MLA right for your piece. And I also want to look at basic sentence requirements for what is a complete sentence and how we can understand that basic unit of thought, because I think that's a key point to make as we work toward improving our writing. So let's have a look at MLA format and what I think we should all look out for. Alright, so I just want to show you how easy it is. We have our Google browser here. Let's type in Purdue OWL. Look at that, MLA. Okay. Boom. Click on the first link. Alright. Now, this website is incredibly versatile, okay? On the side here, you can look at almost anything, alright? It's just, you need to know where to go. So, let's have a look at this one. Basic format. Let's have a look here. Okay, basic format. Alright. These have to do with essentially the works cited page, okay? That's why. Look at that. The human side. Oh, goodness. Let's look at the sample paper. I'm sorry. You're probably all just face palming right now. Oh, gee, Mr. Reed. Fail. So, let's have a look at this sample paper. Alright. Let me zoom out. Zoom out! Okay, I guess it won't let me zoom out. It's not working with me here. Let's see what we got here. Okay, there we go. Alright. Now, I like sample papers, particularly because they're just so straightforward and clear. Now the perfectionist side of me must get this right. Level. That's pretty good. So what we can see here is we see our heading, alright, title, okay, and the indentation marks here, one tab. Ooh, that's rough. That is rough. And let me zoom in here a little bit to get to the in-text citation part. That doesn't seem to have it. But let me show you the formatting quotations element here. Okay. Huh. That's interesting. This is one that's actually causing me pause. When I was in college, this was never allowed. It was always this option here. So that's really interesting. Learn something new, I suppose. These manuals do update, and when they do, it's not always announced. So that's really, really interesting. Something that I'm pretty shocked about. Wow. Okay. So this is fun. It's a very organic video here, but for for the rest of what's on this page, let's have a look. Block quotations have a different style regarding them. I don't really encourage block quotations just because it's a lot of text and we want to try to avoid those. But I didn't really have many of you using block quotations. So here's what I want you to focus on going back to this. You generally, this is my kind of preferred one here, but this style, it's quote, page number, period. Okay, I'm going to be looking for that. All right, if you have it in this other option here, let me use a different pen. If you're using this option, it's still quote, page number, and then the comma or the quotation or the punctuation mark of some kind. So make sure that it is in that order. Quotation mark, page number, and then the final punctuation for that line. That is very helpful. Also, let me just show you something else here. When doing a book title, you want to either italicize it or underline it. Okay? Don't put the title of books in quotes. Okay? Books you want to underline something like poems, short stories. You put those in quotes. The titles. Okay? That's a big one. You want to make sure you get the genres right. Cyrano de Bergerac is a play, not a novel. Okay? I don't want to see any of those in these little revision sheets here. I want to make sure we can get our genres right. Get the quotations, the in-text citations, and then going back to the website and the sample page, make sure that you have that heading and that first page correct, because that's the easiest part. Okay? Get the page numbers, and just review the site again. Sample page, the sample paper is very helpful. And also, if it's not, you could go to Google Image, and let me just show you what that would look like, and you could see other examples of MLA papers. So here's one that we have, sample works, sample essays that are MLA formatted. A lot of them have annotations next to them, which is pretty cool. Really, you could pick on any of these. They get very specific, and it's really up to you. Like if I were to just pick that one here, it hits a lot of the really good elements here. It has your in-text citations here. Oops, sorry. Has your in-text citations here, where we have the quotation mark, and then the parentheses and the quotation mark, parentheses, and then the punctuation mark following that. And just all the others. They're very useful, very helpful, and it's a great resource. Google Image. Indentations mentioned here. If you wanted to indent half, it's just one tab space, and that's a key on your keyboard. Okay. I want to see all this uniform, man. Single or double spaced everywhere, and no extra spacing if you noticed around the title. Okay, page numbers, I think we got it hit pretty well. Now, concluding this video, boy, this is an adventurous one, if I may say so myself. I just wanted to clarify one thing, because we're going to be looking at the sentence very closely. We're going to be looking at all the different parts of a sentence, how things work together in a chain, and all the different parts. But I want to talk about the basic elements of a sentence briefly here. Now, another definition for a sentence is that a sentence is a complete thought. Okay? Now, when we think about that, a complete thought, I think that that really is up to you. For instance, what is a complete thought? What is your complete thought? And the measure, I suppose, is if you were to ask yourself, can someone understand me? And to ensure that, if your sentences have the bare minimum to be a complete sentence, they need two things. They're parts of they're labels that we can attach to things. And they don't have to be single words. They can be a collection of words. We'll talk about what some of those collections can be called. But essentially, a sentence needs two things. Okay? Subject and verb. To show you how simple they can be and be a complete sentence, consider this. Now this is a complete sentence. It's very, very short, but it is. So for instance, let's break this down. Subject, verb. Watch this. To find out the subject, ask who or what. Okay? And then you could say something like, so for instance, what wept? Who wept? And then you would ask something like, for the verb, you would say, I what? Alright? Or I did what? Or what happened? Okay, then what happened? So I think what can also work there, but it's kind of like did what, or what happened, did what, or what happened. Okay, those are a little bit, not as clear. But these who, what, other ones would be how, why, where. How, why, where, and when. These all deal with other ones. For instance, adjectives, adverbs, prepositions. Why? I'm trying to think of their. I don't really have a part of speech coming to mind for why. But then when could also be adverbs. Okay, so like for this one, like how much, adverb is a degree, and then when would be like adverbs of time. Now that's very like specific part of speech discussion there, but I just want to clarify that for anyone, we can realize that a sentence can be as simple as this, and that we have to be able to answer these very basic questions of subject, verb, if you're confused. If you're like, have I created one? And one of the things that I'm going to talk about in the future on these targeted videos are the relationship between like how a sentence runs into trouble and these two basic components of a sentence. Because the sentence can have a lot before it. Like let's say you begin with some introductory clause or phrase. So it would be like la da 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 da, comma, and then you'd have your subject and verb. So you'd have all these words between right here, or namely in front of them, not between. But what can be really problematic is if you have a really long subject. So you maybe have subject and then dot 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 dot. It's like a clause or a phrase dot 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 dot. And then your verb is like way over here. So if you notice, that's a huge gap. Typically, and I'm not saying that you have to write this way. It's just if you ever have a difficult idea and you want to clearly communicate it, the closer you bring these two things together, the easier your reader will understand your idea. Okay, so that's something that I'm going to cover a little later. But again, this is something that we need to have first. Okay, so please soak this in. I'm going to have a practice exercise for us on Friday. And you guys have a great weekend. Or, not yet. That's a little premature. You have a great Thursday night before I see you on Friday. And then I'll wish you a good weekend. Okay? Good day.